The Spari peoples is one of the few cultures to have an outsized impact on galactic affairs. It's hard to know people that didn't hear about them and their tales and legends of incredible strength, determination, and fearlessness in the face of events that would have wiped out a lesser man. A Spari values good stories, tests of strength, and character above all other things, as dictated by their traditional warrior culture. Most Spari see death in battle or far away from home as preferable to the alternatives, with many songs and tales that remind them of such. And all these traits only came into being in combination with their pre-fall culture on board one of the 10, Yggdrasil, with the sheer harshness of their home planet, Spar, a barely habitable ice ball that can easily kill anyone that dares to underestimate it. In fact, it was such a brutal environment, most Union historians and astrocartographers believe the world was seeded as a result of a navigation error, likely caused when their generation ship Yggdrasil passed through outermost band of an extragalactic gamma ray burst. So, let us hear about the tales of how the children of Yggdrasil survive to this day. The following history of Spar and its peoples are written by Eris Bridham, an independent historian of the 10, a summary of her work follows. Through cross-referencing Union and local records, the first landfall on Spar is estimated to have taken place circa 1900 U, and the first batch of colonists from Yggdrasil found the planet as it is today, blanketed in a global tundra, with howling world storms shifting in the cloud. Any actual habitable lands are buried under kilometers of ice. Spar is habitable, in the same sense that Antarctica is habitable. It's a difficult world to make a home on, much less finding sanctuary. Stranded on the planet, the first colonists attempted to settle near their landing site, a far northern depression in the ice created by subglacial thermal vents, forming a pocket of warm land above it, the Yuga Pocket. However, this wasn't sustainable. Most of the landfall population perished, and the rest of them would soon be if no solution was to be found. With many of the colonists still left on Yggdrasil, the colony's leader made a drastic measure to survive. Any computational technology brought down to the surface was cannibalized for long-range scouting and life support, while Yggdrasil itself, already entered Icarus landing orbit, are rerouted at great cost to scout for habitable land. This maneuver has consumed the rest of the fuel stores, stranding the ship above the world. In the months followed, planet-side food stores dwindled to the point that colonists have resorted to post-mortem cannibalism, and on board the great ship, technical failure cascaded across its systems, genetic banks failing, one after another. But, all these sacrifices paid off. Habitable band on the equator was discovered, along with a route to reach it from Yuga Pocket. Salvage work began on the ship, and a second landfall was launched. The first landfall group in Yuga Pocket began their treacherous migration over the land, a trek that would take years and thousands of lives. By the time the colonists from Yuga Pocket arrived, the second landfall group has established a vastly successful colony site, Yin, that lasted to the present day, and had successfully landed Yggdrasil. However, without the manufacturing capability to maintain their technology, the colonists slowly regressed to an early Iron Age society, but they survived, and by surviving, the future is no longer clouded in uncertainty. The children of Yggdrasil have become the people of Spar. In Spari's history, long periods of time are separated into sagas, less defined by the numbers of years and more by coming and going of cultural eras. The first age of Spar, the Dawn Saga, were a lesson in the danger the world posed to humans. The next few centuries made known of the danger that the survivors posed to each other. This was the Family Crick Saga, the first age of strife on Spar. As centuries passed, Yin grew, built upon an old clan system imported by the colonists. Soon, other settlements were established across the habitable equator of Spar. Even one was established over the Yuga Pocket after an expedition to recover lost technology left behind from the Exodus. But, as the population grew, scarcity and clan politics stoked old tensions. Raiding and skirmishes between warbands became more frequent, especially after old technology from the Yuga Pocket was brought back to the habitable zone. This period of warring clans with Yin being nominally neutral, is known among the Spari as the Family Crick Saga, and to modern Spari, it is regarded as a shameful period of interclan violence. It is a widely acknowledged as a costly foundational mistake that, nevertheless, like so many other early tragedies, led to the creation of peaceful methods of resolving conflicts such as Dom-style grievance hearing practice, and with Yin declared sanctuary ground. But before the acceptance of such practice, before the Family Crick Saga ended, another change took place, the one Union brought. Year 3348 U, A Union colonial mission recontact team crash-landed on Spar, just beyond Yin's sphere of influence. The team, already half dead, was slaughtered by the war band that arrived to greet them. Their ship and the team supporting NHP, Prudent Interval, were hauled off to Yin as war spoils. With no guarantee of survival, and limited opportunities to contact Union, Prudent Interval collected all pre- and post-fall data on Yggdrasil, extrapolated socio-cultural theological permutations over time, and took an unconventional approach to the problem.
I'm God. Okay.
Prudent Interval claimed that they were Goddess Enevil and the Union team as Javel, demon jailer who cruelly kept her from her people, and it fucking worked. Under Enevil's direction, Spuri society changed rapidly. The clans were unified, by force or otherwise, into a confederacy of families centered around a hub of trade and culture. Yin, which also had become a temple city devoted to Enevil, returned. Peace spread among the clans, the worst of the family Krieg concluded, and Domstal was enshrined as a rite, marking the end of family Krieg saga. But, this peace was not to last, as the second age of strife, the Enevil saga, will soon face a new arrival. It is around 4000 U when Union has returned to the planet, and by that time, Spar was ruled by a class of religious leader pledged to Enevil, who now fully believed herself as a god as she has fallen deep into Cascade, providing copies of herself to clans that please her so they may take back to their temples and shrines. Let's just say the Union force was rightfully terrified of what will soon occur if they don't destroy her soon. Under the directive of Second Committee, Union force laid siege to the Holy City. The Spar armed force, which hasn't progressed past Iron Age technology, was easily crippled by the attack. In the little ground battle followed the bombardment and landing, Spar greatest warriors, draped in holy icons, girded in ancient armors, and wielded blessed weapons forged of bone, wood, and iron, were outgunned by Union with piercing bullets and pulse beam. Enevil's central temple was sacked by Union's forces and her casket destroyed, and soon all clans along the equator surrendered. It is a point of pride among the clans of the Yuga pocket that their ancestors never surrendered to Union. Over the next few centuries, damage from Union's attack was repaired, and while many Spuri clans, particularly hardy clans of Yuga pocket, believed that Enevil's death is justified because of her weakness and inability to fight Union's more powerful gods, other clans, especially those that suffered the most during Union's reconquest, remain resentful to the present day. The current period of Spar's history started with the beginning of the vast saga, in which as Union secured its hold on the world and began to root out any of Enevil's cascading children, the subglacial inhabitants of Spuri finally took notice. As it turns out, Spar was hollow, in a way. Beneath kilometers of ice is a habitable world, relatively warm and illuminated by diffuse light through ice, an ecosystem supported by hardy dark flora to absorb light, clustered around great thermal vents that bring heat into the subglacial world. It just so happened that Union's campaign had made its most thunderous presence known in some places where the ice was thinnest. Massive sonic disturbances caused by the initial bombing campaigns attracted many subglacial megafauna to these places along the habitable band. It was on the shores of Yin that the first of the vast, as they would be named, burst out from the waters. It was a humanoid titan standing 30 meters tall, draped in long folds of thick fur. It wasn't a creature that enough rifles and autocannons couldn't handle, but its appearance changed Spar forever. Had this happened in any other world, the local human population would be in total panic. To the Spuri, this was the best thing ever, and with a path to space and beyond open to them thanks to Union, they took to the concept of space travel like few other anachronistic cultures did. For thousands of years, the Spuri had known only the brutal ecology of their own world, which instilled them with great resilience, ingenuity, and thirst for adventure. Peace with Union, knowledge of the wider galaxy, space travel, and the discovery of the subglacial underworld all fit within their cultural narratives of Exodus, and it's all for them to explore and exploit. In modern times, the Spuri are still organized under a clan structure, with their chiefs having some autonomy under Union rule. When clans have disputes, these are usually resolved by councils of elders on Yin, or via local domstal, but these practices are mostly ignored by young Spuri that like to take matters into their own hand. Clan affiliations are easily identified by other Spuri with full-body tattoos that most Spuri accumulate over the course of their lives. Records of their deeds, stories, clans, and families are woven onto their flesh. It's not a surprise that old Spuri warriors and shamans would be covered head to toe in tattoos, earning respect from their younger peers. Spuri shamans often tattoo circuit diagrams and other old religious symbols onto their skin too, or wear cabling and transistors as jewelry. While significant reforms have been taken over the centuries, most religious Spari still venerate the machine spirits, especially techno-shamans that comprise the top echelon of Spari society. Modern Inevan dogma is split between those that view machine spirits as separate entities from NHP, and those who view the same. Most techno-shamans are fully aware of the origins and nature of NHPs, and many even argue that the mysterious nature of true NHPs only helps their case. You won't find anyone that argue the same for CompCon, however, it's clearly a machine to them. There's also a small but growing subset of techno-shamans that worships Monist One, viewing it to be the most powerful as it is the progenitor of all NHP. Under the Third Committee, the Spuri enjoy a broad guarantee of galactic rights. Many of their warriors formed mercenary companies of their own and are in high demand on any occasion involving close-quarter combats. Their techno-shamans who have a close relationship with technology make for unconventional but highly effective pilots too. Their partnership with the Volator is the most well-known of all. The mysterious traders often hired Spuri mercenary as their muscle, housing them on board their ships alongside their families. But, while the Spuri are well known for being great warriors, great fighters, and great pilots, they are also great many other things too. By 4696 U, Spuri off-world diaspora have already exceeded the population of their home world, and their presence can be felt everywhere. All the tales about their bravery in combat and eagerness for adventure are simply broad assertions of an increasingly large society that are quite multicultural as anywhere else, a stereotype to be exact. There are noble Spuri living in the baronies, there are Spuri Union officer working in the Union Navy, and there's most definitely a Spuri accountant working in a IPS North Star office on a blink gate somewhere. But, sometimes you couldn't help but look at the Spuri culture, and admire how much humanity is willing to go to survive for tomorrow. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.